Hi guys, so this is my long-awaited labor and delivery story. I am about 2 weeks postpartum, so tomorrow Romero will be 2 weeks old and I really need to get this video done. So I'm in my bathroom right now. Hopefully it doesn't sound weird, but this is the only place that has like light right now because it's a little late. The babies are sleeping. So anyways, alright, so if you guys watched my 40-week video, like just bringing you up to speed with what had happened that last week, I had said that on October 20th, I thought like when I woke up that morning that was going to be the day he was going to be born. I had been having like the most like serious contractions that I had been having so far. Like they weren't bad or anything, but they were like the closest thing to like the real thing that I had felt. And they were about every 2 minutes apart that morning, and I was like, okay, I think this is going to be the day. Needless to say, by late that evening, I was like, okay, I guess today's not going to be the day. That like really sucks. I was really disappointed because I was thinking like for sure by that night I would be in serious labor or have already had him. So I went to sleep that night. Actually I went to sleep really late, and I had been having contractions on and off. It's not like they just stopped, but I had been having contractions on and off throughout the day and throughout that night. And by the time I went to sleep, I want to say it was probably like, I don't know, like 3-ish. I'm trying to listen out for baby, so I might have to stop here, but it was like 3-ish in the morning. And I was able to sleep through the contractions, obviously. And at 5:45, I woke up with like a really bad contraction, and I was like, okay, like that one really hurt. And I went to the bathroom, of course, because I was going to the bathroom all the time. I went to the bathroom. Oh, and also I forgot to mention that when those other contractions had started on the 20th, I had started to lose like my mucus plug, or like, you know, had that stuff coming. And it was never like a whole bunch at one time. It was like, you know, some here or there. It's TMI, it's gross, I know, but needless to say, I went to the bathroom and I was like kind of losing more, like almost every time I was going to the bathroom. And I kept feeling like I had to go, like, not just potty, but, you know, like I kind of felt like I had to go, you know, I feel so uncomfortable saying that. It's so weird. Anyways, so I was doing that about every time I went to the bathroom, and I decided to get up and go into the living room, and I realized my boyfriend wasn't even in bed. I guess he wasn't feeling good that morning, and so he had already gotten up. So I went in the living room, and I was like I think I like sat on the bouncy ball for a little bit and just like kind of trying out different positions. I don't even know how often the contractions were. I wasn't really keeping track. So anyways, I was just kind of going through each contraction, and it was hurting. It was starting to hurt really bad. And so by 7:50, I have like times written down in a notebook. So by 7:50, my contractions were pretty bad, and I mean like really starting to hurt. I was like having to stand up and like lean on things. I tried sitting on the ball and bouncing, and that did not feel good to me at all. Like I was like, oh, like in mid contraction, I was telling my boyfriend to help me up because it was hurting worse sitting on the ball. So I was just trying different positions. And so at 7:50, I called my doctor's office, even though like I've been through this and I know what you're supposed to do, but I'm just like, my contractions were so sporadic. Like they would be really painful and long and just a few minutes apart, and then just, you know, 5 minutes apart, and then it was just so sporadic. I was just like flustered. So I called the doctor, and of course she said, you know, if you're feeling really, really uncomfortable, you can go into the doctor's office and they can check you and see if they can give you something to kind of help you get through, you know, until you're into full labor, like a shot of whatever they give you. Or I should wait until contractions were, I think, 1 minute long and 5 minutes apart or something like that. So I was like, okay, well, she said try just taking like a warm bath and relax as much as you can and resting if you can, and then in 2 hours or an hour or something, to call the actual doctor's office and talk to my doctor, I think is what she told me to do. So I said okay, and I called my mom like 10 minutes after that and was like, okay, well, I've been having contractions, and they're really bad, they're really starting to hurt, but they're sporadic, blah blah blah, and I'm just gonna take a hot shower and see what happens. So I called her at exactly 8:01, and let's see, I went in and I took a nice refreshing hot shower, and in the shower, like, they just felt like they were coming back to back to back. My contractions were so strong, and I was like in there like dying, and it felt like I wasn't getting a break. And I literally was like, what is wrong with me? Like, why am I not getting a break? It hurts. Like, that's what I was telling my boyfriend, and I'm just like, you know, I wasn't crying or anything, but I'm just like, oh, it hurts, you know. And like, he was helping me, like, he let me lean on him like before I got in the shower, and like, you know, tried to help with the pain, and it was brutal. So I got out the shower, and I'm just like, okay, you know what, I think we're just gonna have to go to the hospital, get Milani up, let's get her ready, and we'll take her over to my boyfriend's mom's house, and then let's just go see what happens. So he had started to get her ready while I was getting out the shower, and making her breakfast or whatever. And I was just getting like my stuff together, and then we kind of swapped, and I kind of finished getting Milani ready, and like literally I was in so much pain. So like, my contractions were maybe 2, 3 to 5 minutes apart, but I didn't realize it at the time. It was like, I just felt like I was in constant pain, so I didn't know what was going on. I just felt like I was in constant pain, like without a break. So like, but in between like contractions, when I was feeling kind of okay, I was like playing with her and talking to her, like doing her hair, like, you know, like everything was all super regular. And then all of a sudden I'm just like, okay, yeah, we really have to go, because this is really getting serious. Okay, so we left the house at 9:09, right? Okay, 5:45 the contractions started, and I got in the shower sometime like 8:15ish. We left at 9:09. At 9:25 we dropped Milani off, and I had called my god sister, and I was like, we're going to the hospital. I don't think they're gonna keep, I don't know if they're gonna keep me. I tried to wait as long as I could so that they would keep me. Like, that's what I was thinking this whole time, is I gotta labor at home. I have to wait it out as long as I can, because I don't want to get sent home. I don't want to get sent home. If I get sent home, I'm gonna die. Like, I will cry if I get sent home. So that was like my main focus the whole time, is trying to get through everything without like getting sent home by the nurses or whatever. So we're driving there, and literally, I swear, my contractions were maybe like 2 minutes apart. Like, the whole ride, I was just dying, and I'm like, I'm feeling pressure, like a pressure that I'm unfamiliar with. That's what I told my boyfriend, and I'm just like, why is this happening? What's wrong with me? Like, I literally was like confused, because I'm like, this is weird. Why am I not getting a break? Why does it hurt so bad? Why is it so like consistent, just pain? And so anyway, so we dropped Milani off. I told my god sister, I don't even know if they're gonna keep me, but I'll call you, because she was gonna be there when I had the baby. And she was like, okay, well, let me know, so if I need to leave, I could leave. And so around 9:45 we got to the hospital, right? We get to the parking garage, and there's like 2 spaces that are open, but they're like compact spaces, and my car is like a larger car. So I'm like in pain, but I'm like, no, don't park there, it's too small. Like, oh god, it hurts, just hurry up. And so we're driving around, and we're driving around, and we're driving around, and there's like no other spaces, and like we had to go around like a few times, and I was just like, oh my god, why are there no spaces right now? We should have just took the little tiny space that was right when we came in. And so finally we found a space, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I feel pressure, but I didn't think it was like pressure. I'm just like, it just is unfamiliar pressure, because I never felt pressure with him, because he was always so high up. It's not like he was ever like really low. So like, we're starting to walk to the elevator, and like I had to stop, and I'm just like, oh my god, I can barely walk, I'm in pain, like what is going on? We finally make it to the elevator, and it's like, you know, the shortest time feels so long when you're having these contractions, right? So it probably took like, I don't know, 5 minutes to get from the car into like the lobby part or upstairs, and it just felt like forever. Get in there, right? I'm sorry this is so long, but whatever. So I get into the triage room, and the lady's like, oh, are we expecting you? Did your doctor call for you? I'm like, no, I called them earlier, but I just decided to come in because it just started getting like a little bit too unbearable. And she's like, okay, well, fill out this paperwork, and then we'll put you in. And then she's like, do you want to go to the bathroom before I check you? And I was like, yeah, because of course I kept having to go to the bathroom. And so I said, yeah, and I go in there, and I'm going to the bathroom, and I come in, and it's just like I still felt this pressure, and I'm waiting for her. Like, I get undressed and I'm sitting there, and the contractions are just still back to back. Like, I never even really got a chance to time any of my contractions because they were so crazy, so strong, so like consistently just going. I never knew. It just felt like I was in pain the whole time. So I never really like counted, or not counted, I never really like kept track of the time in between them. So she comes in, she's like, okay, we just have to call your doctor, blah blah blah, and she asked me a couple questions. I'm just like, crap, like, you have to call my doctor before you can check me? Like, oh yeah, she asked me, she's like, when's the last time you were checked? And I said I was checked on Monday, and she thought I meant that Monday, but it was actually the Monday before. And this was, so I had him on that Friday, and I hadn't been checked since the Monday before that, so basically almost close to 2 weeks. And so, and at that time I was 2 centimeters, and so I was like, she thought I meant like just that first Monday, which wasn't the case. I wish I would have got checked that day, but my doctor wasn't there. But that's in a different video. Anyway, so yeah. So then they called my doctor. They said to go on ahead and check me and see where I was at, whatever. They called the resident doctor in. So the resident doctor comes in, and they're just telling me, okay, just breathe through the contractions. You're doing really good, you know. And my boyfriend like was videotaping a little bit and was just like, I think you're doing better than when with Milani. And I was like, I really don't care. Like, it hurts. Like, that's the only thing I can think about right now. And so the resident comes in, and she starts to check me, which it just was brutal because it's like the checking is uncomfortable and it was painful to me, and I'm already having all these contractions. Like, I was getting no type of respite, okay, from all this crap. So she's checking me, and she's like, yeah, I think she's about an 8. And I'm like, an 8? Like, literally, I'm about to start crying just thinking about it, because it was like, I'm almost 8 centimeters. And she's like, and she tells the nurse, she's like, I just want you to check her just to be double sure. So the nurse checks me right after that. Oh yeah, honey, you're fully dilated. You're 100% effaced. And I'm like, what?